So I've been feeling pretty lost and filled with a lot of self-doubt for a variety of reasons over the last couple of days. It's been quite difficult to really pinpoint why, but I think if you're a creative or someone that feels passionate about something that they're pursuing, the ebbs and flows of this whole process is very real, and it can hit you in tidal waves one day and then the next day you're feeling completely over the moon and full of accomplishment. It's a very confusing process, and while this video is probably going to be quite different to the previous ones I've made in this series, I think it's equally as important to capture these thoughts because they all play a factor in the making of these songs. And so it'd be remiss of me to just pretend that this whole process goes smoothly and this is easier than it looks, because I'm sure anyone that really pours their all into something, no matter what it is creatively, you feel like it's a part of you, and so there's a lot of judgment that comes with it and criticism of yourself. One of the biggest things I've started to realize is that there is a big difficulty with that blurred line of perfectionism and procrastination, but more importantly, it's setting deadlines and trying to stick to those deadlines. I think, well, I do really feel as though these songs are very special, and I think anyone that makes anything would feel the same way. I think because I've only been able to work within such a budget and everything is really DIY, I just feel as though I'm doing a bit of an injustice to these songs, and I'm not serving them as well as I could be to convey the emotion that I really know exists within those songs. But there's another part of me that goes, being able to finish and sharing these songs in whatever capacity you can and sticking true to those deadlines that you set is equally as important, because you learn to finish what you've started and you learn to be proud of what you've made at that point in time and learn from those mistakes that you made at the previous period of time and improve on them. It is a very process-driven journey, and I really want to make sure that I am finishing these songs to the best that I can, and I always will know that I could do more, and in the future me can probably go, he could have done better, but there's only so much I can do. And I think my workaround for me right now has basically been to try to package these songs as a bit of like an unreleased demo or a bit of like a scratch track kind of thing. So it's imperfect, but the song is there and it's released with all its imperfections, and it might not be the best, and maybe I'll have an opportunity to re-record them to a more satisfactory standard, but there's a bit more of a DIY, homegrown kind of feeling to this whole process. So I'm hoping the essence of that can be heard within those tracks, and maybe that's a vibe in itself. I don't know, it's very confusing, and I'm sure this whole video is probably going to be quite chaotic and confusing. I'm also quite glad that I'm capturing these moments, because it's very real that as I feel like I'm nearing towards the finish line for one of these songs, I feel like I want to extend that finish line further away and give myself even more time. And I don't know whether these are excuses or I'm being very realistic that I don't feel like I've given it 100%, but I think I need to stay true to the initial goals that I set out with releasing some of these songs, but just trying to find a way to come to a compromise with myself, so I feel a bit more at ease and I can be more confident with releasing these songs, knowing that, hey, these aren't going to be the best final deliveries, but these are going to be real songs that have been written by me, and they tell a story, and they tell a story that I think is important and I value. And I think if you can get that story across, and if you can convey that message, and you can convey some of that feeling and essence of it, that is what will carry through. I think that's equally as important. So I'm rambling on, and it's difficult, but I think having the last couple of days, actually a week and a bit, being very busy with work and not having much time to be able to continue working on these songs currently, it's given me probably too much time to think and probably too much time away where I lose perspective. But I've gained some unique learnings from talking to other people that has helped me kind of navigate this process. I think I'm still on track. I just need to hold myself accountable, and videos like this are what help me hold myself accountable. And I think if you're a creative person in any capacity, or if you create works that mean something to you and have a bit of you in it, I think you can really relate to this whole process and to the ebbs and flow of releasing things out into the world. That's just something that's always going to be there. But if I can keep this accountability in check and keep these deadlines firm, I think I'm able to navigate that a lot easier. We'll see what happens. There's no guarantees, but the one guarantee is I'm going to try at least record and document the process as I'm going through it to the best of my ability, so that if you're in a similar situation, you might find something within what I'm saying, and you might find some comfort, relatability. And I know I search for that in a lot of times in my life where I'm quite confused. Having that relatability just makes it a bit more easier to digest and makes the process a bit more processable. With that being said, I'm quite exhausted, so I'm going to leave it at that. I'm hoping the next couple of videos will be a bit more engaging with the recording process again, and hopefully there'll be a newfound kind of perspective to it, and you'll be able to feel the energy shift in those recordings, and maybe this is just an important final step of this whole process. Who knows?